In the summer of 1916, the world had already lost its innocence. The First World War had turned fields into oceans of mud, skies into fire, and young men into ghosts. Among the many stories born from that chaos, one stands apart, a story so strange that even now, more than 100 years later, it refuses to die. It began with the 5th Norfolk Regiment, 266 men, mostly volunteers, mostly from the quiet countryside of eastern England. They were farmers, bakers, school teachers, ordinary men who believed they were fighting for something noble. When they boarded ships for France, they carried letters from home, photographs tucked into pockets, and the belief that they would return by Christmas. But Christmas came and went. The war dragged on, and the Somme became a slaughterhouse. On August 12, 1916, the regiment received their orders. Advance through the fields near Delville Wood. Support the main assault. Hold your position until reinforcements arrive. The morning was hot and quiet, a strange calm before the storm. Birds had stopped singing. The air smelled of smoke and metal. One soldier, Private George Allen, later wrote in his notebook, the last entry before his disappearance, "The light this morning feels wrong. The mist moves like it's alive. I can't hear the guns anymore. Only a low hum, like the earth is breathing." At 8 a.m., the men began to march. Their boots sank into mud thick as tar. The ground shook from distant artillery. Above them, the sky was split with streaks of light and drifting clouds of smoke. And then, the mist appeared. It rolled across the field like a living thing, pale gold in color, glowing faintly against the dark sky. The men hesitated. It didn't look like gas, and it didn't sting the eyes. It just hung there, waiting. Their commander, Captain Beck, gave the order to move forward. He was a calm man, respected, brave. He didn't believe in superstition. To him, mist was just weather. So they walked into it. Witnesses from another unit watched them go. They saw the 5th Norfolks marching in perfect formation, disappearing one by one into the haze. First the front line, then the second, then the officers. And when the last man vanished, the mist closed behind them, and the valley was empty. At first no one thought much of it. Visibility was poor, confusion was normal. But as the hours passed, there was no signal flare, no message, no return. When scouts were sent to look, they found nothing. No men, no bodies, no tracks leading out. Just rifles lying neatly on the ground, as if placed there intentionally. Command assumed they had been cut down by machine gun fire or taken prisoner. But days later, German reports confirmed they had captured no such regiment. It was as if the entire unit had walked off the face of the earth. Weeks passed. Families back home received telegrams. Missing in action. Presumed dead. But some refused to believe it. Letters from before the march began to resurface. Letters full of strange details. Private Allen's mother showed the press his final note. Another soldier's wife, Mary Walters, received a letter where her husband wrote, "We've been seeing odd lights near the trenches. Some of the lads think it's flares. Others say it's not. I saw shapes moving in it last night, slow, like shadows underwater. I don't know why, but I can't stop thinking about it." And then there was Captain Beck's diary, recovered months later from the mud. His last words read, "If we are to disappear, I hope it's quick. The mist is here again. The men say they hear singing in it. I think I do too." After the war, stories began to multiply. Some veterans swore they saw the regiment walking through the fog, glowing faintly like silhouettes made of light. Others said they heard their voices on quiet nights, calling names, asking for orders that would never come. But then, 2 years later, in 1918, something unexpected happened. A field was being cleared near the small village of Longueval, deep behind what had once been German lines. There, a group of workers uncovered human remains, dozens of skeletons lying close together, still wearing British uniforms, buttons with the insignia of the Norfolk Regiment, their rifles beside them, their packs unopened. And here's the strangest part. Their watches had all stopped at exactly 7:35 in the morning. There were no bullet holes, no shell damage, just silence, frozen in time. Experts tried to explain it. Maybe they had gotten lost in the smoke. Maybe they had wandered into enemy territory and been gassed. Maybe the mist was a chemical cloud that killed them instantly. But none of those explanations made sense. No gas masks were on. Their positions didn't match any known battle movements. And how could every watch stop at the exact same minute? Years later, in the 1920s, an old German soldier gave an interview to a newspaper. He said, "I saw something that day. It was early, maybe 7 or 8 in the morning. There was a strange fog over the valley, thick and shining. The English were marching into it, and then they were gone. When the fog lifted, there was no one there. We thought it was some trick, maybe smoke to hide a retreat, but no one ever came out. No official record ever confirmed his story. But it was enough to keep the legend alive. Even now, historians argue. Some call it a myth, the product of confusion, trauma, and the chaos of war. Others believe there's truth to it, that something happened out there, something no one could explain. And there are more mysterious details. Local villagers spoke of seeing the same golden mist at night for weeks after the battle. Animals refused to go near the area. And when the wind was still, some swore they could hear faint voices calling through the fields, distant, desperate, echoing across time. The official report simply says, "The 5th Norfolk Regiment advanced on August 12, 1916. They did not return." But that line, that one simple line, hides a deeper terror, that hundreds of lives can simply vanish, not through death alone, but through the war itself bending reality. Maybe the mist was a natural phenomenon. Maybe it was the chaos of the battlefield, smoke mixed with light, illusion born from exhaustion and fear. Or maybe it was something far stranger, a tear between worlds, where men stepped beyond the reach of history and into something else entirely. The Great War changed the world forever. It destroyed empires, reshaped nations, and scarred a generation. But the story of the Lost Regiment reminds us of something deeper, that even in an age of machines and reason, mystery still lingers. When you stand on those old battlefields today, the air is quiet, the land is green again, but under the soil lies the memory of fire and thunder. And sometimes, when the morning fog drifts low across the fields, people say they can see shapes within it, marching figures, faint outlines moving in perfect formation, slowly fading into the mist. Maybe it's just imagination. Or maybe, for a brief moment, the past bleeds through. Maybe those men are still walking, still searching for orders that never came, still waiting for dawn. No one knows what really happened to the 5th Norfolks. Their names are carved into the stone of memorials across Britain, their families long gone. But the mystery endures. A reminder that war doesn't only destroy bodies, it can erase reality itself. So if you ever find yourself on a foggy morning, standing in silence where the Somme once burned, and you hear footsteps in the mist, don't be afraid. It might just be the Lost Regiment, still marching, still following their captain's last command, forever advancing into a mist that never ends.